So this is Bill. Bill is a 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner purchased from the dealership in Detroit. This video is going to serve as a little bit about the history of the vehicle, the current condition of the vehicle, and why it's named Bill. When I first met Bill, was introduced to him, he was in this garage. He sat there for about 15 years, we estimate, and this was the condition that he was in. Beautifully preserved for a 1969. Wiped some dust off, it took some pictures, and we decided, hey, we need to go home together. So we loaded Bill up on the trailer, hauled him out to Oxland, the Ox Auto Complex, where the condition that Bill is in this video is how it was when it came out of the garage, basically. So from where we are to this location is where Bill came from. Bill came from this dealership, which is the same dealership that the Black Ghost was purchased from, along with, I'm sure, several other cars, because this dealership was a very, from what I read, neighborhood-oriented dealership, and the actual owner just lived a street over. The owner, William Trentle Jr., was a rock and rollin', muscle car driving United States Marine Corps veteran, and he is the person that signed the note on this 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner that I've named Bill in honor of William Trentle Jr. Some of the paperwork that came with this car is one of the reasons that drew me to it. There are notepads where Bill was figuring out the cost of all the options to make sure that he could afford it and still afford a wife and young children at the time. There's an estimate paper, there's a down payment note, the original bill of sale, the window sticker that shows all the options. But just the amount of documentation on this car and being a one-owner car, just, it excites me. Paperwork excites me. So load up the family, load up the car, and head down to Cookeville, Tennessee. This car would live in Cookeville, Tennessee at the same garage, same house until I purchased it at the end of last year. Unfortunately, at the beginning of last year, Bill passed away. But continuing his legacy, ladies and gentlemen, Bill. So for my car family and my Roadrunner fanatics, the rest of this video is basically going to be this. I go around it, I'll take some video, I'll show you the inside, I'll show you the engine, show you up underneath it, I'll put it up on the lift, but I'll kind of give you an overview on the condition of the car as it is, just like it came out of the garage. The good, the bad, the ugly. I haven't even cleaned it off. It still has the original dust on it. I'm still kind of basking in the fine dust, if you will. But towards the end of it, I'll give you a little bit of an update, but for the next 6 hours, it's going to be this. Trunk is in fairly decent shape. It's mostly surface rust in the center, and that rust from the quarters comes up a little bit into the wheel wells. Cool thing was that it came with an original Chrysler Corporation tire inflator. I wonder if it still works on those polyglass. I've not yet pulled the seats out of the interior. I haven't even looked for the broadcast sheet. Still dirty, haven't cleaned it. Same condition, like I said, that it was when it was in the barn. One of the cool things in here, Bill left a work light right there in the passenger floorboard. And that newspaper was underneath the car. It's from 1981, maybe 1985. But I had to keep it with it because it just seemed like it was part of the car. Both these rear quarters are pretty much the same. Typical rust on the late 60s classic Plymouth. This is the worst of the two sides. A little closer up. Still has some of the gravel in there. This is the side where I think Bill may have had a little bit of fun throwing some Dukes of Hazzard into a gravel field and chunked the curb. That's probably the worst part of the car, aside from the driver's floorboard, compared to the rest of it. Obviously the rear quarters, but you'll see it again when I do the undercarriage pan. Now, since I did this undercarriage look, I've replaced the gas tank, fuel lines, the rubber fuel lines, the fuel pump, and to get it running on its own, I put a temporary Edelbrock on there. Still have the original Carter. I'm just going to have to rebuild it. So as of now, the only unoriginal things on here is the gas tank, the fuel pump, and the carburetor. And from the factory, this had red line tires. Obviously doesn't have the original tires on it. And the only thing that I know that's missing is the fan shroud. It's that rough corner again. That's that driver's side floorboard. Clean out the squirrel nuts, put a battery in it, see what the electronics would do, which I was pleasantly surprised also. The map light, dome light were all still working. Washer motor. I don't think the radio works because this one was put in. Headlights work. Parking lights work. Taillights work. That's Bill. Bill is currently running on his own tank, his own fuel pump, and his own carburetor. Hopefully soon I'll get the brakes working and we'll have a driver. But that's Bill, 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner.